G'day, my name's Bill, these are the bots, welcome to the video. So 2025 is really looking to be the year of the Constructicon. Well, with the 12 new third-party takes on the Big Green Gang, Blokey's is giving it a go, and even the Bayformers group are making a comeback. Also, there's this little thing called SS86 devs that you might have heard of it, you might not have. Anyway, today we're taking a look at the first of the 86 Constructicons, Studio Series 86 Scrapper. So for those of you that don't know, Scrapper here is one of 6 Constructicons, which is a subgroup of Decepticons that combine to form the massive Devastator. And now, 10 years after the previous version in Combiner Wars, and 40 years after the original G1 toy of Devastator, he's back, thanks to the Studio Series 86 line, based off his appearance from the 1986 Transformers the movie. And Scrapper here is the first of the 5, as even though there are 6 parts of the Big Green Guy, there are going to be 5 releases. The 2 Torso bots, Hook and Longhaul, are coming as a Commander Class 2-pack later this year. And based on the previous SS86 Commanders, I reckon it's going to be a very good 2-pack. Anyway, back to Scrapper. Now Scrapper here is a Voyager, like his fellow Legpot, Mixmaster, though they need the extra engineering to make a very stable set of feet. And whilst I don't have Mixmaster yet, Scrapper is definitely solid. Whilst he may not be the biggest Voyager, he definitely fills out the budget as he feels very solid. His tolerances are brilliant and the plastic is wonderful and dense. Whilst there may be a bit of hollowing in the arms and legs, it doesn't distract from the look of this figure. I mean, look at him. How can you not love the beautiful Constructicon green and purple? Which they absolutely nailed, by the way. And that head sculpt, which is amazing. Designers perfectly replicated the grump in a box that is Scrapper's head. And with the silver highlights and the regal red visor, there's no mistaking who this guy is. His articulation is a bit of a letdown considering the size class, but compared to the previous Scrapper, it's definitely an upgrade, considering this time he has elbows. Posing is pretty standard, all things considered, but he does have a few problems, such as his feet are a little wide, which, yeah, it's fine. And his arms are weird. The shoulders are alright, even having a bit of butterfly joint in them, which is very nice. But the forearms, specifically the hands, are very strange, as they are just welded to a hinge for transformation, which means they don't really move, and they kind of just hang there. I only bring this up as this figure being a Voyager and the price that commands, I would really like to have a wrist swivel. Also, he has no waist swivel, which is really disappointing as it looks so swivelable, but I do understand why, as it's where the ankle pivot goes for Devastator. But it does make Scrapper here the first figure I've ever seen with a waist pivot, so that's new. For accessories, he comes with his own little pistol, which is pretty much the same as the original G1 Toys pea shooter, but on a much cooler side, he comes with the big boy cannon. Yes, he comes with these 2 purple blocks that once combined form the main rifle for Devastator. Now why it comes with Scrapper and not the Torso 2-pack, I don't know, but hey, at least Scrapper can hold it, so that's neat. Besides comparisons, here is SS86 Scrapper with SS86 Grimlock, SS Devastation Optimus Prime, Age of the Prime's Slingshot, and Age of the Prime's Vortex. So now I think it's time for Phase 1.
Constructicons, transform! Phase 1!
Transformation for Scrapper is pretty basic, but I wouldn't expect much from a man that folds up into a brick and folds down his bucket hoodie. So here's Scrapper in his digger mode, though there's not really much to say about it, but much like the robot mode, is extremely solid, with everything tabbing in and locking into place. Although he does suffer from Constructicon syndrome, which is that sculpted detail is lost in a sea of green, with a bit of purple stranded in the middle with a tiny cockpit. The wheels are very nice with some shiny rims, and he can roll pretty well for a guy that's got a millimeter of clearance from the bottom of the alt mode to the ground. And of course, the bucket can do bucket things. He can store all the accessories on the back of the digger mode from an RDAB digger. For comparisons, here is SS86 Scrapper with SS86 Grimlock, Devastation Optimus, Age of the Prime Slingshot. So not bad for a modern update of Scrapper's alt mode, even though it looks more like this Combiner Wars digger mode instead of the G1. But it's fine. I mean, out of the 3 modes, I think he'll spend the least time in this one. That's right, I said 3 modes.
Transform! Phase 2!
Here is Scrapper in foot mode. Yes, the leader of the team turns into the foot, where all the other leaders turn into body. Yeah, it's a thing. It's a pretty good looking foot, with the waist pivot becoming a meaty ankle pivot. This Devastator is going to be amazing. For some comparisons, here is SS86 Scrapper with Devastation Optimus Prime, and for the heck of it, here is Studio Series, Revenge of the Fallen Skipjack, who forms that Devastator's right leg. So overall, SS86 Scrapper is an absolutely amazing figure, and if he's anything to go by, this Devastator is going to be brilliant. Let's just hope that the others are up to the task. Even though he is small, he is definitely worth the Voyager price tag, with all 3 modes being spectacular aside from a few compromises, but compared to some other Combiner components, he got away pretty damn clean. So I've been Bill, these are the bots, and until next time, have a good one.